Had to have a job. It's against the law to not have a job.
No loitering.
If you get picked up for vagrancy, you go to prison. When you're in prison, you get rented out to the turpentine camp.
Oh God, dude! So your choices are turpentine camp or turpentine camp.
One way or another.
Yeah, either getting paid or you're going to the camp.
You're going down to work.
It was bad, and that program didn't peter out until the Second World War, and when there were so many jobs during the Second World War, they could get out of the camps and they could go.
You had an option.
They had options. They could work at the naval shipyards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you call what drips out of the longleaf pine? And sap?
Yeah, I don't know if that's exactly the correct term. I may be mistaken on that, but it's sap. It's pine sap
Or pitch or whatever.
Yeah, pitch.
But they make a bunch of products from it.
Right. It's basically tar, pitch, and turpentine, and they were all used in the naval industry. The naval stores, they call naval stores. And of course, when I went through school, it's like, what was the #1 export in colonial North Carolina? I'm born in North Carolina. It was naval stores. Good, you got that correct. But nobody knew what naval stores. They didn't teach you what naval stores were. That was just a question on the test when you were in, the 8th grade. But the naval stores was the tar, pitch, and turpentine that allowed the ships to be waterproof and resistant to marine worms that could bore through the bottom of the wooden ship. It would waterproof the ropes. It would waterproof the tarpaulins. The word tarpaulin had tar on it.
You still see that in old, if you're reading like old books, how-to books and wilderness travel books, they're always talking about getting it. I always thought it was pronounced tarpaulin.
Yeah.
But like Tarpaulin.
Correct.
And it's taken nowadays to mean, like, I remember, like, guys my dad's age would even call it plastic tarp or tarpaulin.
Yeah, blue tarp. You have a hurricane, the roofs are all covered in blue tarp.
Yeah, but they call it tarpaulin.
Right. Yeah. Right. And so then so you ask, how did we lose all the longleaf? So we used them until we used them up. Every time somebody needed to grow a field of corn, you had to cut trees down. Corn won't grow in the shade. And so you cut the trees down and cut them up, build your house like my grandfather did, and then you can plant your corn crop or your tobacco crop or whatever. And then in the 1950s, the pulp mills came to the south, and loblolly pine could produce more pulp faster and more timber faster on an acre of land than longleaf was. So they would cut out the longleaf and convert longleaf to loblolly. And that was pretty much the death knell, because the landowner could grow the same size tree. The landowner, like where we were hunting, those trees that were 20 inches in diameter were 38-year-old trees. They were loblolly pine. To get a 28-inch longleaf might take 200 years.
Oh.
And so why would the landowner plant a species that he would never see a return on?
Yep.
If he can plant a species that he can get 3 or 4 returns on in his lifetime. And people were whacking them. And then you as